Good morning, Jingcheng.
Morning. Wait for some for a while.
Just trying to figure out to share the right screen. Yep, I think that's the right process. Good morning, everyone. Binbin, I adjusted some of the items on the presentation agenda. I don't know if they're the namespace resource discussion is meant to be their own bullet point.
Oh, actually, I should move those 52 items under the CRD breaking changes.
Oh, I see. So the CRD breaking change, sorry, just to clarify, is my proposal to update the release notes for V1.1.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, but I want to discuss like the format of how to document a breaking change, because in the future we will have this like another round of CRD breaking change, right? Because our CRD definitions are still in beta, so they're still changing. So it's more like I want to track the updates to the release notes.
Oh, I see.
No.
Yeah, cool. So we do have a few items to go through today, so let's get started. Just having a quick look at who do we have on the call. So Akash is sick today, so he may not be able to join us, but we'll see who we'll have on the call. So quick status update on the PRs. 1244, I'm still working on like how to move forward with the plugin version validation, but at the moment I'm prioritizing 1265. Akash is still working on 1246, and just a note on the cosign upgrades, we had a discussion on making cosign a built-in verifier, and most people are supportive of this, so we haven't heard any objections. So Akash says he would still need to make the update to the cosign design document to evaluate the implementation changes if we made cosign a built-in verifier. 1258, Josh is still working on the review feedbacks. Next one, 1264. Juncheng is working on the trust store types. Go ahead, Juncheng.
Yeah, this PR will be published by today, and Bingbing and Suzanne, if you got some time, you can log in later.
Yeah, sounds good. 1265. I'm working on a change to perform plugin path validation on CR Create, and this change also includes adding a substatus to the CRD for verifiers and store, but I'm still working on the code coverage, and that this little cross is for code coverage failure, and also I'm planning to add more end-to-end test scenarios, so that one is also in draft. Anything else Ratify PR related?
Yeah, I have a PR. It's not out yet, but it's related to the CRD refactoring and the executor refactoring, and the code is almost complete, but I need to fix and add new unit test because it touches a lot of files, and most unit tests was broken.
Yeah. Yeah. We look forward to that PR. And depending on the status for this one, so I might go through 1265 in the Monday, Tuesday PR review meeting. Jungchen, do you want to go through your PR during the next week's PR review meeting too?
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure if we can just finish this week, but yeah, we can take a review at next.
Yeah, we
meeting.
can use that meeting for any clarifications.
Cool.
Cool. So let me have a look at the documentation PR. Pull request. Yeah, we've merged the, how do you say this, Algolia search. So that was merged yesterday. So now search is enabled on the Ratify website. Thank you to Shravani and Feynman. I don't know if Feynman's on the call. It's great to see the search capability. So just for demo purpose. Yeah, so now we have a little search box at the top. Cool. So that is everything on our PR. Anything else on the doc report that people want to mention? We can move on to the discussion items then. Oh, here's Akash. The first item on the agenda, Binbin, you want to discuss if we should enable the CRD manager by default?
Yes, actually, I think currently the Helm deployment file was like it enables CRD manager by default, and so in this case we will always use the CRD resources instead of the configuration. But I think Jungchen already made a change to like loading the configuration from CRD or config file. So currently we only get for Ratify service, we always get the configuration from the CRDs instead of the config JSON. So I'm thinking if we should just always set the CRD manager as the default, and we can remove this option to like disable the CRD manager.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So the customer scenario is you're either using CLI or you're doing the, if you have a HTTP server, we assume that you have deployed or applied the Ratify CRDs.
Right.
So we're taking, the option we're taking away is if you want the Ratify HTTP server and somehow you want to use the configuration file. Is that true?
I think so. I don't know if Ratify service should just always bundle with the CRD.
Yeah.
Do we have?
So is there?
Yeah, I don't know if we have any scenario that we will just run a standalone Ratify without like CRD.
Yeah, I think this is a good point that you're bringing. I discussed also briefly with Susan. We probably would need, so because I feel like so far we've optimized the experience for Ratify in a Kubernetes cluster, but it looks like we're also going to start to open it up to more CLI scenarios, more scenarios where Kubernetes might not be in the picture. So this might be something that where we want to take a note, G, and start kind of coming up with the scenarios for CLI that we want to prioritize for the next upcoming milestones. Is there a plan to have sort of a PRD for CLI scenarios?
Hey, Luis, actually, this is only for the Ratify service, not for the CLI. So for CLI use case, we still load configuration from the config file. But but if we deploy Ratify service, I just don't know if we still need this config file.
I see.
Binbin, can you still start the server with the config file today?
Actually, so currently we always deploy Ratify with the CRD manager enabled. But users can still disable it manually during their deployment. So I don't know if that's a valid case that the users will disable this CRD manager.
Yeah. I think we should first investigate if it's like today the code as is, does the HTTP server still start and can be configured with the configuration file? If it's working, maybe like we should keep it that way so it's flexible, so that if people are out of the Kubernetes environment, that they can still start Ratify as a service.
Okay. That also makes sense.
But yeah, let's have a review of the current code path first.
Gotcha.
The next item, Ratify support cosign signature. So this is the spec that you're working on for cosign, and I know that you're wanting to discuss with Akash because his work, like some of the items are working in progress already. But Akash is sick today. Do you want to postpone this to next week, or do you want to go over on a high level and then we can all spend some time to review it, and then we can do more discussion next week?
Yeah, thanks, Susan. I'm also thinking the same, since Akash is sick. So maybe you can help to open the document. I can give a high-level introduction on the changes. Then maybe when Akash is getting better, he can do some offline review, and we can discuss sometime next week.
Yeah, sounds good. I will make you the host so you can scroll through the document easier. Does that work for you?
Yeah, let me try that.
Yeah, let me make you the host. Yeah, you should be able to present now.
Okay, let me share. Can you see my screen now?
Yep.
Yes, I can see.
Okay, so actually, this document, it was shared previously, maybe months ago, last year. So at that time, only the overview and the scenarios are documented for the cosign experience that we are going to implement in the upcoming milestones. Recently, I did an update, especially on the user experience. So today I will focus on the user experience explanation. And for the other sections in this document, I will just give a very brief walkthrough. So for our upcoming release to support cosign, here are some scenarios. So for our existing release, we support cosign both keyed signature and keyless signatures, but there are some problems I list here. And this document focuses on the keyed signature based on the discussion with the integration team and the account team that based on their requirements, since they communicate with the customers that most of them are expecting the keyed signature, not the keyless signatures. And also for our existing implementation, there are some minor issues. During my verification, I also list here, for example, for some signature or keys algorithm. So I think Akash is already aware of this and mentioned this in his cosine design document. For the scenarios we want to support is that currently we support, although support the keyed signature, but it is in a format of the Kubernetes secret. So we would like to use the CRD approach, and also this is one change. And also we should be able to support multiple local keys. So if user have their local self-managed public keys, so user should be able to use those keys for replication. So currently we only support one key, but we would like to support multiple self-managed keys. This is one scenario in the second one. And also based on the feedback from the customers, some customers also use the key manager system, such as Azure Keyboard, for storing the keys. So this is the first scenario that we also need to support, that the keys are managed in key manager systems, such as Azure Keyboard. I think from the Azure Keyboard was the first priority that we need to support. But from the design point of view, we can consider whether it is we can have a common CRD for other key manager systems that provided by other cloud providers. As I just mentioned, we should also support multiple keys. And based on the feedback from the customer, they expect that some customer, they have keys managed in different Azure Keyboard. So that means we will have multiple keys in multiple Azure Keyboards. This is one case. And also it is possible that one Azure Keyboard has multiple keys. And also another scenario may be not common, but we can consider during design whether it is possible to support. It is that the user has self-managed keys, but also they have some keys stored in key manager system. So it's a mixed self-managed keys and keys stored in the key manager system. I use the term self-managed keys is borrowed the term from the cosine, so it's aligned with the cosine document. And there's another low priority scenario that in some cases user may need to upload the signature to the transparent logs. So with a configuration to a record server. So we should provide this option for user if they want to do that, but this is low priority. So these are the scenarios. For the experience, I list, I think I list 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the experience according to the different scenarios I just explained. I won't go to the details, but in general, from a user point of view, user can configure the verifiers during Ratify installation by specify the Helm chart parameters, and the user can also do it after Ratify is installed by configuring the customer resource. And one thing I want to highlight or discuss is that this is also related to Akash's cosign design document, is that we may need to consider updating or introducing new CRDs, for example, for key manager systems, because we need to, previously we have the error keyword for the we have the the arrow keyword customer resource for the notation notary project signature, but for the cosign, it is still that the cosign verifier need to access a key manager system, right? So we need to consider whether we need to have a common CRDs that applies for both notary project signature and also the cosign signature. That from customer point of view, it is easy because it's same experience. They just need to specify what is the vault and what is the address of the vault and what is the key names and also something like that. And also there are specific parameters that apply for different provider, as I showed an example here. So for this one, we can discuss offline and make a conclusion later. So in general, for each scenarios, user just need to configure the customer resource for accessing the key manager system or the inline customer resource for the self-managed keys. And for the cosign verifier, it just needs to specify what is the provider from the keys that Ratify needed to use for verification. For example, it could be keys from a KMS, or it could be keys from a inline customer resource. So in this experience section, the first one is about how to user configure the key stored in error keyword. I have this example, and also user how to configure the cosign verifier for the keys stored in a keyword. And the second one is about how to configure self-managed key from a CRD. Previously, we do it as a Kubernetes secret. So now it can be done by a CRD. I use the inline store for it. So similar for the cosign verifier, it just specify where the keys are from. For the multiple keys verification, it is similar, but user just need to specify different store in the cosign verifiers, for example, for inline or for other key manager systems. And for the Record server configuration, we can just provide an optional parameters. So if a user specify that, that means the user want to upload signature to the transparent logs, but this is low priority. Yeah. So I know there will be some details about the customer resource definition. We can do that later. But I think maybe this is a time that we can think about how we can unify the customer resource definition to see whether we can cover both notary project signature or cosign, and how we can provide a common template for different KMS providers.
Yeah, thank you, Yi. With the the kind that that you showed in the example scenario, the KMS configuration, I think in Akash's design doc, we have options to repurpose the existing certificate store CRD, or we can have a new CR called like, what did you call it? I think it was like, so we have the certificate store, we also can have a key store, but I think we're leaning towards using the current certificate store, but add like a type property to indicate whether this is a certificate or a key, just so that we don't end up with so many CRDs and then the customer would be confused on which one to use. Sajay, Luis, Shui, if we kept just our existing certificate store CR, would it be intuitive for the customer?
So is the proposal, I'm sorry, but is the proposal to not use the certificate store CR when we use this?
So the certificate store CR currently are for certificates, like the interfaces and stuff, they like kind of in, I think their response type is like X509 certificates, and then the cosign keys, they're just in a different type. So our option 1 is to just continue using the same certificate store CR, but also just add the interfaces to support the cosign keys. Like we'll have fetch certificates and fetch keys.
Yeah,
is the
I think
proposal we're leaning towards.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because key vault supports certificates. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
key vault only keys, but certificate store supporting keys, is that okay? I'll leave that to the people who have stronger opinion on this.
Yeah.
But but in this case, what about scenarios like, even if it's the self-signed key, the rotation and things like that will have to be handled by the CR, right?
Yeah, I can provide more information. So currently, Ratify to verify signatures. So currently we have the certificate store. That is because from notary project signature point of view, we needed to retrieve this certificate from the keyword, and we needed user to specify the certificate name if they merged this certificate chain in error keyword. But we don't have a store for the key specifically. So I think we are discussing that whether we should have another CRD named the key store, so that all the public key related to verification, especially for cosign, user can configure the public key in that key store. So with that, we will have 2 CRD, one for certificate store, another for key store. So for the self-managed key, currently we call it inline store, but I think this is also a kind of a special key manager system that is user self-managed. So in my example, I just use this key manager system as this kind. So it covers both the certificate store key type and also the inline type. Inline type means user can just specify directly the content. This is just one example. Yeah.
So instead of introducing a new CR that is fragmenting the way that we manage secrets, should we? This need not be a secret. It's only the public key, right?
Yeah. And yeah, from other
Can we
admission,
supersede this is what I'm asking. Like, should we, I don't know, just you want to call it a key store and we deprecate certificate store in favor of that as a unified API so that we don't have to.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
Akash has some comment, in the chat. So I would suggest that maybe
Akash mentioned exactly the
yeah,
same thing.
maybe we can have a issue to document this, and also I think Akash has his design doc, but I'm not sure whether it is available for all the for the broader community. So if we want to make a decision, maybe we can create an issue to list the options and ask for opinions.
Yeah, I think we can
Yeah,
drop
so
the
Akash,
sorry, go ahead.
go ahead, Sajid.
No, I was just continuing. Akash's thought was also along the same line, which is encompass both. No, I understand, Akash. I just had the chat on the side. So
Yeah.
if we can rename this to something a little bit more generic and collapse both of them into the next one, and then we deprecate certificate store, and this new CRD is what we use for everything. Might be easier, less concepts for people to worry about, right? I was like, if it's key, put it in this CR. If it's certificate, put it in this CR. Anyway, that's maybe like if you can open up an issue, we can just.
Yeah, so all three
Yeah.
options is already captured in the design doc by Akash, and the design doc is currently in a PR.
Okay.
So yeah, feel free to comment on the PR. Yeah, Akash just sent the link to the PR.
Yeah. Besides that, we can also review whether we call it properties or field. We can also review the name for the properties and the names, and after we reach conclusion, we can well document it so that user can know how to do that, because this is a kind of a user interface, right? From open source Ratify point of view, user need to configure in order to verify successfully. Yeah, I think that's the topic I want to discuss, and it's also connected to Akash's PR, the design doc. So we can follow up offline and review, leave 1 week for review this proposals and experience.
Yeah, thank you, Yi. We'll ask clarification questions on the doc if needed.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, let's see how I can reshare my screen to share the agenda. Okay. There, host disabled participant. Okay, looks like I have to get host back first. Just a second. E, would you be able to make me a host? It should be on the participant list. Right click and you should see an option to make me the host again.
Done.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is notation verifier changes. Binbin, I'm not sure if you added this one or Juncheng added this one.
Oh, I added this one, but actually Juncheng is working on this PR. So because we are adding more trust types to the notation verifiers, and for example, in this screenshot, we have search and search one under the verification search stores. but because currently we only support CA type, so we just ignore CCA type on the parameters. But in the future, if we support like CA, TSA, and signing authority types, then we should specify the types under the verification stores for each trust store. So I'm proposing maybe we should add a type on the verification stores, or maybe we can prefix the type before the trust store name, like for example, like CA search or CA search one. If you scroll down a bit, you can see my two examples. And Junchen, do you have more details on this change?
I think we have to make it pretty clear. So yeah, as we have two options right there to include information of the type of trust store is CA self-signing, a self-authority, or the further one TSA. Yeah, either the one upper or the format lower.
Okay, so
Any
we can
opinions?
append a prefix to the certs, or we can have introduce another level of what type of certificate this is defining. Sajay E, do you have any feedback on the user experience? Which option is clearer?
Will this second one work? Say certs on the same level?
Yeah, it'll just depend on how we parse it in the implementation. But I don't know if this looks intuitive to the user.
Yeah, it's seems. I think the first one I can understand quickly. The second one is kind of tricky. But
Yeah,
why are we saying the search store CA and search? What is the other options if it's not CA?
We have TSA and the signing authority. Those are supported by notation. So, but currently we only support CA, so we need to support all of them.
I see. So are we going to have under CA other options?
I
No.
don't think so.
Oh, so then why don't we just say CA search as one word or something like that? I'm just not following the CA :search option. That's what I'm saying.
This is just the type and the search name, the store name.
I see.
Yeah, the CA, TSA, they're like enums, right?
Yeah, I can provide more information. So, so this is based on the notary project, trust policy and trust store, right? For trust store, we have a type. So, so for us, we use the C type as this is the sign scheme. And for example, for AWS Signer, they are using a different. It is the sign authority. So this is another type. Although this is a little bit long, but this is another scheme. Sign authority. This is what AWS they want to use. So if they want to configure the trust store, this customer resource in Ratify, they need to put the signing authority under this verification set store. And notary project, we are working on TSA support, the time stamping protocol implementation. So based on the current trust policy and trust store, it will be another type of cert store. It is called the TSA. So if that function is implemented in notary project, so from Ratify point of view, if we want to verify signatures, that's also with the TSA information, we need to specify a different configuration for that. So this is the background.
Maybe if we have a little bit more example values in there, things become a little bit more clear. Like you said, one thing is just to align with what your target or underlying store is, right? In this case, it's a trust policy from notation, so keep it as close as possible. So is the second option more closer to notation?
The second one, I think, from Notary project trust policy trust store, we have that JSON file. The trust store format is as Sajid you said, is in this format.
Or CA and the value is search. Is that what it is?
Yeah, C is the type, search is the name of the trust store.
I see. Oh, okay. Space is always confusing. Yeah, if it's just a string, then the name string makes sense. I think that's why the YAML schema is more obvious, because whether it search was a type or not is what I wasn't sure. If it's just a string and it's an enum value, then it's fine. So what are the possible values of that CA? Does it have any other values besides search? You have TSA also, right? Or no?
This value should be customized, right? If my
Yeah.
understanding is correct.
So I'm hoping we can call out other values that are possible there, because if it's CA colon something else, let's at least call out what the other values are, so it's a little bit more clear, because it looks like an option or an enumerator, right?
So
Yeah.
Binbin, can you call your store something else? Is this just a name?
Yeah, we can choose any names that are valid.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the notation trust policy, it'll just be CA colon something, signing authority colon something.
Okay, so it's just an
Yes.
identifier.
Yeah,
Okay, so then
that's my understanding.
that's not a type. It's confusing, because the level strict is an actual set of values, acceptable values, right? Search is just an identifier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first option will be have some
Okay, now
advantages.
that makes sense. So in that case, this makes normal sense. I think the top part I wasn't looking at. Okay, sounds good. So then why do we have the first option? Like if you go back to the proposal, you had two options, right? So why do we have the first option then? What's the value of this one? Are you planning to inline define it? Is that what the plan was?
I guess like one of the option will be if we like engage the TSA feature, we don't have to go through all those certs and figure out if they match something like a TSA column cert or TSA column cert 2. We just go over all the certs under TSA directory and put them into some further functions, so we can go ahead and handle these certs. Yeah, as that's one of the advantages that come up with.
Yeah, I'm feeling very silly. I'm not following the example here, because you have the first one, which is not. So if you look at the top of the screen, you have notation artifact type, and you say verification search stores, and then you have certs, and then you say search store AKV and search store AKV1, right?
Yeah.
That's as per the spec, the JSON. how would it look if we use the second option? Do we have it expanded in the same way?
Yeah, I feel so. Like we will take the CA search and under CA search will be search store dash AKV search store dash AKV to like more specifically, the first one will be in structure called like map and take to level indexing, and the second one will take CA column search as a key of the map.
I
If
see.
we transform, yeah.
Okay, so with the second option, this would be CA certs and then AKV 0 or AKV 1. And then CA certs 1 that contains AKV 2 and AKV 3.
Correct.
Okay, maybe let's just expand it with the example so that we know how this maps to the second part. I'm looking at the YAML, I'm leaning towards the first one, but that's just my opinion. I want to kind of like get others' opinion on this. So. Even though notation follows the second pattern. The point is, in notation, it's clear because the string identifier. Here, it's more like the whole thing is a name, right?
Okay, it's an image. Let's see if I can quickly type this up. So certs, it'll be certs AKV, AKV 1. Certs 1. AKV 2. AKV 3. This looks correct for option 1, right?
That's true.
Yep. Okay. And then for option 2, we will have AKV. Oh, I have blocked it down. AKV 1. CA certs 1. AKV 2. AKV 3.
Susan, can you add another type, for example, TSA?
Yeah.
So that's yeah, so that we can know if we have other type.
And this can be anything, like name 1, right? AKV 4, something like that.
Yeah, it could be also certs, some certs. It also certificates. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw in the chat. Yeah, I also have the question I asked at the beginning. That's whether the second option work or not, because there's a column in the identifier, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just for my own thinking, the fact that everybody's squinting at the second option kind of means it's not flowing naturally, at least. I'm not sure whether that's a concern for others, but
Yeah, for the second one, I didn't say it is normal in the YAML file. I didn't see this kind of usage. I'm not sure how about others.
From my understanding, the column is like take as a separator, so we may use any other valid separator for the same use. Just means we can put everything in a string as the key and represent the type of the search, if that's makes sense.
okay, do you want to update the hack dog, Guncheng? Maybe then we'll understand as an example.
Sure. Oh, let me see. May I have the, okay, got it.
Oh, Junchen, if you edit this page, it'll show up on the screen as well. You can edit it from your end. Let me send you the link of the meeting notes.
Got it. Okay.
Yep, Akash
Okay.
just typed, he personally prefer option 1, could introduce another separator, but now it's another convention we are introducing that will have to explain it maps to type colon name notation convention. Shui also had a comment about, I know YAML can handle it, but it's
Not
not
elegant.
elegant, like handle the colon. Sajay says, less concept counts. What does FTW stand for?
Sorry about that. For the win.
For the win, okay. Yeah, okay. It sounds like option 1 is preferred.
Noted. So we can go forward with option 1.
Yeah. Thank you, Jingchen. 8 minutes left. I think we have one more agenda. Yes, this item is Xinghe notified me, so we made a fix to the certificate map so that the verifier CR can uniquely identify the certificate store by the namespace. So this change is like listed in our release note, but it's nice to call it out as a breaking change. Like, so I wrote this blurb that I was planning to add to the release note. Like, there's no PR process for the release note, so I wanted to get this reviewed and see if I can just edit the release note for Ratify v1.1. And we will have more CRD breaking changes in 1.2. So I want to see like what kind of template do we want to follow for documenting a breaking change. Is there any standard today? Yeah, I had a look at auras, like some of the breaking changes just in dot point. So here's what I have for the certificate store. So there's no action item. So first, it's talk about what the change is and linking it to the PR. No action item if you're using the default Ratify Helm chart, and talk about like what do you need to do what do you need to change? If you maintain your own custom Ratify charts or manually applied CRs, please edit the verifier CR to append the namespace, and also providing an example here. So I was hoping to add so right here, release note. So I was hoping we have new features and then we have documentation. So maybe add the CRD breaking changes between new features and documentation. Is that?
My vote would be
typical,
to put breaking changes before new features.
Okay. Yep. And Luis just said, we might want to start a process where we track breaking change through an issue that explains the change mitigation migration. Yep. Thanks, Luis. I can also create a new issue for that. Sure, Akash.
So when we do PRs, do we have a breaking change in the PR, like a title or something?
We don't have one, but we can. We should.
Or maybe
so
a label.
any PRs. Yep, with breaking change.
So that
yeah,
way it might be
Akash
easy to just.
And then they'll come up in the release notes, right? Like even though the change itself is not very discoverable, but it'll be one of these. Like, would it just be breaking change colon and then whatever the change is instead of fix? or feature?
So if you have a breaking change, you should have a bound. I mean, what do you call it? This mark. I mean,
Oh, exclamation mark? Yeah,
yes,
a
this
bang,
mark.
yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
In the
you
title.
need to have in the title. So if it's a feature,
okay.
then it's a hash bound. I mean, it's a feature bound column. If it's chore, it's chore bound, and then a column. That's it.
Okay. Shui, would you be able to send me an example so we can follow that in the future?
Okay. I think we have a lot of examples in the auras.
Okay.
And all, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll look for them. Akash said we can look at the V1 release note. We have an example there. So, oh wow, very nice icons. Cool. So I'll take this and I'll put it on the top before new features. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the example, Shui and Akash.
Sure, quick question. Does the conventional commit does the GitHub action automatically handle these? Is the feature bang colon actually added to the breaking chain section?
No, we do it manually.
I see. So
We
GitHub
don't have a
has
tool. Oh, actually, we don't have a tool to pass all these commits. So we don't have an automatic tool to generate the release node.
so GitHub's marketplace action actually has support for conventional commits though.
Yes.
Oh, but this is not the standard GitHub conventional commits, but you have a script to do this? Is that what you're saying in auras?
No. We actually, when I do a release, I just manually looking at the title of the PRs.
I see.
And then go through each one, and I see, and I will rephrase the actual release node based on the commits.
I see.
I know without a GPT, I cannot abstract the content of the PRs, so I do it manually.
Okay, so maybe we can script this because we've done a bunch of these kind of work in different projects, right? Being able to at least script it to generate this changelog might be easier. Anyway, I think at least if you have some convention, you can extract it.
Yes. By the way, the point of having the bound in the PR title is that saying that okay, it's a breaking change one, and we may need to consider a major version update. That's the most meaningful thing. But if it's experimental and we have stated that if it's an experimental feature and we have a breaking change, it's not a major version change, then it's okay. It's a minor version.
Then maybe that's one thing. Maybe we should start an issue in Ratify to adopt conventional commits and have this convention checked in as a markdown somewhere. Standard conventional commits, ensure breaking changes are feature colon bang or something like that. And that will, at least that just a one-liner will help people to get started.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Cool. Yeah, that's everything on the agenda, and we're at time. Good timing, everybody. All right. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for
Take care. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.